So I always get the question, John, why is North Six Source so different? And for me, it all comes back to how we look at this industry. We see a lot of parallels between coffee and home care. So if you go back into the 1980s and you look at coffee at that time, coffee was served in a styrofoam cup. It was black. It was this commodity. Everywhere you went, you got the same cup of coffee. Then a young entrepreneur named Howard Schultz came along. He went to Italy and he saw coffee in a totally different experience, totally different light. He saw coffee as theater. It was the centerpiece of conversation in that society. And he took this concept back to North America and he started a coffee company. And he didn't start it around a cup of coffee. He started this coffee company around a purpose. He identified that people in this society needed a third place to go. They went from home to work from home. And people needed that third place, and that became Starbucks. And in the course of time, almost 40 years now, he built one of the most enduring and great brands, consumer brands in the world. And in that course of time, changed the entire culture of coffee. He took coffee from being that bland, ubiquitous cup of coffee in a styrofoam cup to this ultimate experience. And when we look at home care, we see home care just like coffee was back in the 80s. Because in this industry today, everybody does the same thing, and everybody does it the same way. And we all provide the task, we all provide this care around vacuum cleaning and cooking and personal care and medical care. But there's a big opportunity to change that. There's a big opportunity to take it from that task to deliver that experience, and that experience around what I would call the human spirit. So to us, that means really defining and delivering on what we call the unexpected needs of a client. So we have a favorite question at Nurse Next Door, and the question is, what in the world did you used to love doing that you no longer do anymore? When we can find that answer to that question, that's really what our care starts to become. So one of my favorite stories when we asked that question to a gentleman in Penticton, one of our franchise partners, he answered, well, I used to love flying model airplanes. So we asked him why, and he wouldn't tell us why. But our caregiver over time, as they built the relationship, got it out of him. And the answer was he was embarrassed because when he went to fly model airplanes, it was the thing he enjoyed most doing. When he went to fly model airplanes, it was with his friends. And he couldn't go and pick up the model airplane. He got too tired, so he stopped doing it. So the next day our caregiver had this gentleman out flying model airplanes. And I know the happiness that we brought that client. So to us, that's where we start changing the industry. And we know if we can do this, we know if we can execute on this consistently across North America, that's how we not only change the industry, but we actually start to drive what really is our purpose of our company, which is making lives better. We drive happiness in our clients, and that's why we're here. It's the cause we rally around. It's our why. And if we can do this, I strongly believe it may take 10 years, it may take 20 years, but I know that we can actually change this perception of aging in our society. One from that perception that aging is lonely and it's fearful, to one of joy and celebration and happiness. And that is why we're different, and that is what makes our franchise partners in every local market across North America so different from everybody else.